the game can see the boxing voice.
Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go.
Tweets where the Javante was putting out, he was like, you know, I got $1 million for this fight, and thank you, Steven Espinoza, and thank you. Did you see any of those?
I just think they do a great job on these fighters.
A great job, meaning you?
Fighters seem very happy to earn less elsewhere. So, you know.
So if you can't solidify that Jonah Carl fight, Tevin Farmer Davis, where does Farmer go next? What's his next high profile?
You got a couple of fights there. You got the Burchell fight, which is a tough fight.
Could you make that on the zone?
I think he's got one fight left with Top Rank. But listen, maybe we do it on ESPN. By the way, I'm not adverse to doing Farmer against Tank on Showtime. If that happened, if that's what has to happen, I won't hold a fighter back.
But those decisions only get made on the amount of the purse?
Yeah, of course. Like I can't give Farmer say, I'll give you X for fighting Tank on Dazn, and then they offer him half and expect him to take that. Do you know what I mean? So,
do you think Showtime would invest in Tank and make that his first pay-per-view?
Maybe.
You think so?
Maybe. They have to. Pay-per-view is the only thing Showtime can do. It's the only thing Showtime can do. And that's why when you look at Wilder Brazil, that's what they were going to do. Or may
Can you explain that for the fans? So, because isn't half of the money going to the cable provider anyway?
But basically, let's look at it like this. They don't have the money for the rights fees, right? So they have to get the public to pay for the fight, to pay Deontay Wilder. Okay?
Pay his purse, though.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so he has to sell a certain amount of pay-per-views in order to...
Yeah, but I'm sure there'll be a minimum guarantee, or they'll convince him he'll do loads of buys, don't worry, he'll be fine. A bit like Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence this weekend, right? So you get to a stage where...
Wait. So are you saying that Mikey's alleged 10-figure offer is not a guarantee?
Oh, is he getting 10 figures, is it?
That's the rumor, right?
I don't believe that, but...
I mean, you offered them both $8 million each.
Well,
why wouldn't he...
You offered them that, me and you gave it
No, you said that fight would probably do... This is your exact words. A little bit paraphrasing, but it was pretty much like, that fight would probably do 400. I would give them what it would do.
It won't do 400. I think it does. I think it would struggle to do 200 actually. But I would have given them 8 million easy for that fight each. Right? So we're in a situation where I don't know they've got a guarantee. They're betting against the numbers that it'll generate. All I'm saying is that from a Wilder perspective, on pay-per-view, they're now Showtime have no choice but to ask you, the fan, to cover the purse. The amazing thing about Dazn is, and people got to get their head around this, what you are paying is paying for the fight to happen. Dazn are taking care of that for you. And this is the amazing thing to elite end fighters, where you say to Deontay, to Joshua, you don't have to gamble on pay-per-view. So you imagine you had Wilder against Brazil on Showtime, right? And a large portion of your purse was reliant upon the numbers that it generated.
What's the typical back end? Is it just $1 per fighter? Like, what's a normal negotiation back end upside on pay-per-view?
For a fighter?
Per fighter.
Depends on the model. For us, when we do a pay-per-view fight, we give a fighter total ownership. But the model's very different in the UK. And we're doing 6, 8, $1 million buys for most pay-per-views. So we know the numbers. But what I'm saying is when you do a smaller one, like Garcia Spence, or like Crawford Khan, or like Wilder Brazil, now with Dazn, you don't have to gamble because they're paying the pay-per-view number, and a very, very good one that you won't even hit, you know? So it takes the pressure off the fighter, it takes the pressure off the fans to say you no longer have to stump the money up to pay for us to get this fighter. But I don't blame Showtime, they can't do anything about it. It's the only way they can stay in boxing is to do pay-per-view.
So no one loses money if...
They'll still lose money.
Well, I mean,
yeah, but the
Anthony Joshua Wilder happens. How doesn't Dazn lose money when, obviously, the simple math is Wilder Joshua could be $100 on pay-per-view?
Yeah, because what they'll do is they'll pay the rights fees that will be generated from the pay-per-view. So if it did 1 million buys, or that's the number that is projected, they say no problem, we'll guarantee you that. No problem.
But as a promoter, as Joshua's promoter, do you think you guys only touch $1 million? AJ Wilder, properly promoted, undisputed?
I think there's upside.
I mean, if Fury did 320 or
supposedly,
330.
yeah. But I think the rematch would have done 500,000 personally. Fury Wilder. So does AJ against Wilder do double what Fury Wilder rematch would have done? Possibly, yeah. I wouldn't like to be gambling in the US market on that fight, but it's it's the biggest fight in boxing. So I don't know, but it's just great now that you have a partner that you don't have to worry. You know, so like Deontay or Mikey Garcia, you don't have to worry about what it does, because let's be honest, it's not the most solid pay-per-view market, America, is it, for boxing? I mean, you've seen fights like you know, Ward Kovalev do 150,000 or 90. It's a great fight, amazing fight.
Even Jacobs Golovkin 170.
Yeah, and another amazing fight. So there isn't really, outside of the big heavyweights and Floyd.
But what if they take those numbers into consideration and say, look, man, Ward and Kovalev, both fights did 190. Why would we pay Wilder, Joshua, and assume that we're going to get to $1 million?
Well, now you're going the other way. A minute ago there was upside, and now there's downside. You can't have it all. They have to take a position, and the fighters have to agree. Fuck, if we did $1 million, I'd be over the moon. Okay, well, why about we guarantee you $1 million? You know what I mean? It's all negotiation, you know. But I think it's an amazing opportunity for fighters where they don't have to gamble on pay-per-view. And you know, for everyone who says, you know, and again, it's not for me to talk about subscriber numbers on Dazn. What I'm saying to you is, when people say, the numbers are low on Dazn, like, you do realise that more people watched, I don't know, Canelo against Fielding than watched Fury against Wilder, right? In the US, in terms of buyers in relation to numbers.
So now you're saying that Dazn doesn't release numbers, but you get to see them, and you're pretty sure that they did over 320 something.
Yeah. But for that particular fight, yeah. But I'm saying, so it's not limited, and when the subscribers continue to grow, you're not reliant upon people spending $80 or $90 just to watch one particular fight. They're subscribers. They're going to watch the fight, you know. So there's nothing wrong with the audience numbers, but ultimately, Dazn have to. The beauty of Dazn is they are paying on behalf of the public the revenue needed to make the super fight.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive, from Border Wars and Title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.